Grand Risings. Today is Wisdom Wednesday, June 8th, and this is your Shekinah Wisdom Podcast. Today, my lovelies, is Wisdom Wednesday, and this is a day that you explore areas in your life where you had leveled up, and you look back on your past mistakes and you evaluate if you're on the right path right now. A lot of times, right, when people go through situations, some people seek solace, right? They go into isolation. And that isolation period is a growth period, right? And it usually happens when someone's going through like an insecure space, right? I want to tell you that there's no reason for you to be insecure. Did you know that you are perfect? That's why you got the job of you, because nobody can play you better than you. When are you going to understand that, right? Your only competition is yourself, your yesterday self. Your only goal in life is to be a better person today than yesterday and a better person tomorrow than today. And you have been accomplishing that. And you should also acknowledge your accomplishments, right? Look how far you have come along your journey. Look how many tools that you have added to your toolbox on this journey. You didn't in the beginning when we started out on this healing journey. You didn't think that you were going to have the results that you have now. And now look at you. Now look at how much you have accomplished in that time frame. We've learned things like if you're not happy, then a self-check is in order, right? Environmental check is in order. We've learned that self-love is the first love, right? And that you take that love with you wherever you go. When you envelope yourself in self-love, no one could penetrate that protective field that you put around you. And you know the importance of bringing that love for self in not only your relationships, but in every facet of life. That's how you stop resentment, right? A lot of times we resent things because we are not setting healthy boundaries for ourselves. And when those boundaries are being crossed, usually by ourselves, we're usually the ones crossing those boundaries. We get upset at the world when it's truly a matter of self-love evaluation that needs to be done, right? There was a time in my past breakup where I poured so much into that relationship. Like, I loved the relationship more than I loved myself. And when you find yourself in that place, you cease being you. That's when they say you lost yourself in a relationship. I've done that before. And, you know, the reason why I did it was I was trying to save, heal, recover, or whatever stage I was in at the moment. But that's something that can only be accomplished with two people that's willing to do the work. And the mistakes that I was making was wanting to do the work with people that were not team players. They were not even trying to do the work themselves. And so after being bumped on the head by those situations, I had to add more self-love to the way that I showed up in life. And I had to ask myself, is this relationship reciprocal? And if not, is there anything that could bring about reciprocity? And if I couldn't do that, then I knew that I was pouring too much into the situation. And when you're overpouring, that opens the door for resentment, right? When you're overpouring, that shows that you lack the love of self. Self-love is the love that's going to propel us to where we need to be. When you love yourself in a healthy fashion, the world will be a better place. Just think about it. Toxic people don't love themselves. And if they don't love themselves, they don't love people around them. They can't. There's no way for you to honestly say you love someone if you haven't mastered the love of self. I won't believe you. You don't even know what love is. Self-love is the first love. So if you're not showing self-love, I know for a fact that you don't know what love is. You probably think codependency is love, but that's not it. A healthy love nurtures, sustains, and it helps your growth. Both people involved in a relationship, whether it's business, personal, or familiar. So today, my lovelies, I want you to analyze the relationships in your life. See which ones are healthy. And the ones that aren't, what can you do to improve the health of those relationships? Sometimes the health can't be improved and you have to discard them. And when I say discard them, it's called loving people from a healthy distance. My love is unconditional, but the distance between us will always have conditions. You have to make sure that you are not putting yourself in a toxic environment just because you fear being alone. I find people that do that. I'm a misery hates company person. If I'm going through any cycles that are negative or things that are life lessons that I'm going through, I distance myself so as not to affect other people with whatever I'm experiencing at the time. But not everyone does that. And the fact that not everyone does that, you have to be the one that decides who can come around you, who not, based on their individual frequency. If you need further support on your healing journey, head over to ShekinahWisdom.com where you can book an appointment. If you want art therapy, head over to IAMTheletterU.collection.com. And if you simply want to support the work we do here, you can cash out Unearthing the Truth. All right, my lovelies, you have a wonderful, happy, wisdom-filled Wednesday.